Big changes don't require drastic actions. They just require small tweaks. And here are 10 small tweaks that I've made in my life that have helped me change my life. Number 1, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Now that's a quote attributed to Henry Ford, but I want you to really think about it for a second. I want you to slow down and let that sink in. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. When at times in your life you thought, oh, I can't do that, and you never even tried. That's because can't lives in a house on Won't Street. I can't do that simply says you're not going to do it. I've never seen somebody say, I can't do it, and then they went and did it. I have seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times people with the attitude of, I can do that, go out and try. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful. You may fall flat in your face, but you'll learn something from that. So start developing the mindset that I can, because I can gives you the will, the permission to go out there and try. Number 2, set goals. If you have more than 3 priorities in life, you have none. I got that from Ben Hardy, who got it from someone else, actually. But think about that also. 3 priorities. If you have so many things that you're doing that you're pulled in way too many directions, you can't make progress on any of them. You have to decide. Decision, cut away. Cut away all the fat from life. Decide on what your 3 priorities are going to be. That allows you to have a clear vision of where you're going and what you're working on. Number 3, this is going to surprise a lot of people. We're in the hustle culture. You got to grind. But number 3 is recovery. That's right. Slow shit down. Take some time for yourself. Now, for all of you that are saying, that's bullshit, I can't do that. Think about the times you were on an airplane, or you were taking a shower, or you were driving in the car. Times where you couldn't really be distracted. Times where life kind of slowed down a little bit. That's where your best thoughts come from. For me, it's hikes. I love hiking. Just go for a nice, short, medium, long walk, depends on the day. And that just frees my mind of being out in the sunlight, in nature, with the birds and the rustling of the leaves, all of that. I keep looking out the window. That's why I keep doing this, because I'm just talking about being outside and I already want to be outside. So have time for yourself. Whatever that may be for you. Is it a massage? Is it just sitting on the deck having an iced tea? Is it going for a walk? Is it exercise? Is it going fishing? Is it crocheting? Like, whatever it may be for you, make sure that you are taking recovery time. It calms the brain, and it allows the brain to become more creative. Number 4, journaling. Yeah, I was never, ever a journaler. I thought that was way foo-foo stuff. Journaling allows you to do a mind dump, actually. You're freeing your mind. You're freeing your mind, and in the same step, you're staying focused. It sounds counterintuitive, but it's true. So when I'm journaling, inevitably, some of my journaling turns to what my goals are, what my vision is, what my purpose is. And I start journaling more on that. And it helps me stay focused on those 3 priorities. The other thing journaling does for me is it allows me to just empty my mind, to get everything out on paper. so that I don't feel like I have to store it up top. Number 5, exercise. Now, exercise is one of those things you either love it or you hate it. I love it, my wife hates it. For me, exercise builds resilience. When I'm pushing myself exercising, whether that's push-ups, sit-ups, squats, kettlebells, whatever it may be, whatever the activity is, when I'm pushing myself and I think, oh, I can't do that. He wants me to do another set of push-ups. My shoulders are burning right now. I can barely feel them. Yet, I made it through that set. It may have been a set of 20 that I did 1 rep at a time, but I made it through the set. I built the resilience. We're capable of so much more physically and mentally than we perceive we are. And I know that firsthand from constantly pushing myself. Exercise has really taught me that. It also helps me stay in shape. It releases endorphins. Endorphins make me feel good. So exercise is another thing that I've adopted that has really, really helped me. So we went through, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. Setting goals, recovery time, journaling, exercising. Now number 6. Number 6 is reading. Do you realize that reading has a compounding effect? It's amazing how many books you can read in a year if you only read 20 pages a day. Now, I did the math. I wrote the math down here. 20 pages a day, 300 days. Not even a full year. I'm taking 65 days off. So I read 20 pages a day, 300 days. That comes out to roughly 20 books a year. 20 pages. Who can't read 20 pages in a day? Right? Maybe that's, depending on how fast you read, it's probably 10 or 15 minutes on the quick side and a half an hour on the long side. But just 20 pages. So 20 pages equals 20 books. 20 pages a day, 300 days, 20 books on average. What can you learn? What can you have your mind open to if you read 20 books? And if you read those 20 books and you didn't just read them, but you implemented the things that you learned in them. You implemented the things that popped into your head when it popped into your head. So as I'm reading, I take notes. And sometimes I have a thought of a video to do. I have a thought of something that I want to do, something I want to execute on. And I'll jot that note down. It's not specifically pertaining to what I'm learning, but it's still something that I want to do. Reading opens your minds. If you're reading across disciplines, right? So mindset, habits, health, psychology, you can then overlap those and get ideas and implement ideas from one of those sources to something else. So reading opens the mind. It actually, for some, relaxes. It relaxes me. I enjoy sitting down reading. So reading is one of those things that can really accelerate your growth. Decluttering. Number 7, decluttering. I want you to think the last time you went to an Airbnb or a hotel, right? And you walked in and everything was straight, neat, clean, and you were like, this feels good. It's because your mind doesn't see clutter all over the place. Clutter invokes stress. What I try and do, and by no means am I perfect at this is still something I'm working on, is when I have something that's out of place, I will pick it up and put it where it belongs. Now, if you walked into my office right now, you'd be like, you pick up things and put them back where they belong. Not perfect at it, but I am working on it. And I will tell you this, that when my desk is neat and organized, and there's not piles of papers and books and all of this other stuff laying all over the place, when my books on my bookshelf are all spine out, nice and neat, I feel relaxed. My mind isn't wandering, oh, I got to take care of that, oh, I got to take care of that, oh, I got to take care of that. So if I take care of it when I see it, peace and calmness come over me. Number 8. This is going to sound really strange, and people aren't going to believe it, but it's backed up. I wrote it down here. Hold on a second. It's backed up by a study from a guy, Nicholas Coles, out of Stanford. Smiling. Just smile. He did a study. He brought together individuals that actually believe that smiling can actually change your happiness with individuals that didn't really believe that. And he studied 3,800 people across 19 countries. And he found that smiling, even if it was a fake smile, even if I just went like this. Yeah, that looks stupid, right? Even if I just did that smiling changes the physiology in your body. And it's telling you, you're okay. It's signaling to you, you're okay. Everything's going to be all right. So I add breathing to that smiling, right? When I'm feeling really stressed, I'll smile. I'll be like, and I'll take that deep breath. And then Huberman taught me the physiological sigh. The physiological sigh. And it's a double intake with a long exhale. So it's so when I added more smiling and more breath work to my day, I actually feel different. It's funny that if I go back in my journal entries and I just sit and do thinking time and I think back, I'm like, yeah, those were the days I was more more in tune to actually performing it. I was actually performing breath work and reminding myself to smile. And on those days, I can link up that I felt like I had a better day. Doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't chaos going on all over the place, but I felt better that day, all because I smiled. And smiling's contagious, by the way. We had a guy in the firehouse. This is a shout out to Gazara. Gazara was the happiest guy I ever knew. That guy always had shit going on. Problems at the house, problems with the kids. Not like just normal problems, not like bad problems. Like he'd have a pipe break or the kid would fall off his bicycle and scrape his knee. But he was always having things happen. He had a lot of kids. He had like 5 or 6 kids. And they were all in a tight age range. They were all young, like just normal everyday chaos in his life. But this guy, he always smiled. You'd walk into the firehouse kitchen and he'd be sitting at the table with a glass of coffee and he'd be smiling. Be like, hey Lou, what's up? And you just had a smile back. So smiling's contagious. So it's good for you and it helps other people. Number 9, patience. Learn patience. In today's day and age, we get packages delivered on our doorstep. In some places, within an hour or two. I can order something off of Amazon a couple hours later. It's on my doorstep. We are so in tune nowadays to that instant gratification that we want things to happen immediately. When you talk to guys doing YouTube channels, and they're like, oh, I don't have any views. My channel's not blowing up. Well, how long have you been doing it? I've been doing it for 6 months. Oh, yeah, well, I've been doing it for years. What do you think I'm doing this challenge? I'm doing a challenge, 100 videos in 100 days, so that I can get my reps in. So that I can accelerate that instant gratification. That instant gratification isn't going to come right away. It's not going to come for 2 or 3 more years down the road. That's okay, because I have faith in the process. I have faith in what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing. I enjoy the process. Yeah, I want to have a great big YouTube channel, because if I have a great big YouTube channel, then I'm adding a tremendous value to a tremendous amount of people. Remember, I'm out here creating 112 million freedom thinkers, people that break out of society's mold. I know I can do it because I did it. And success leaves footprints. And we're in it together. So having faith that your priorities, your goals that you set, that you will attain them. But it's not going to happen overnight. And when you look at everybody else, you're only seeing, I want you to picture an iceberg. When you see a really successful person, and you're like, oh, I wish I had that. Oh, why don't I have that? Oh, I've been working. Think about an iceberg. An iceberg has like this much above the water, but it has this much below the water. That person put in their time. They did their reps. They took their hits. They had their failures. Everybody has to go through that. Number 10, the last one on the list. Go for a walk. I know that's anticlimactic, but go for a walk. There's another study out there that it actually changes your mood. Just a quick walk. It doesn't even have to be a long walk. When you get that bad news, when you feel that frustration, the physical exertion, and walking is not really that physical, right? But the physical exertion of you walking actually changes your physiology. It gives you a couple of minutes to cool down. It gives you a couple of minutes to transition from I want to react to what happened to I want to respond to what happened. So when I'm going through these things and I go for my short walk, just like around the block, we're not talking anything tremendous here. My body starts moving. Movement causes change. I can do some breath work. Breath work's the quickest way of getting in tune with your body. And in that time, I get to make a transition so that I can respond to the situation, not react to it. You react from your limbic system. It's emotional. You respond from your prefrontal cortex. It's logical. Taking that walk slows things down. So much stuff in life, in success, is slowing things down and becoming aware. If you could become aware and you could slow things down, just a hair, you're well on your way. Guys, these are the 10 things. Real quick, Henry Ford's quote, if you think you can, you think you can't, you're right. Set your goals. Have 3 priorities. Make sure you're giving yourself recovery time. Journal. Read. Declutter your environment so that it brings calmness to you. Smile and breath work. Have patience and have faith that you will hit those goals if you stay consistent. And go for a walk. 10 things, small little tweaks you can make in your life so that you can make your life better and more fulfilled. Guys, we live up here in the numerator, not down in the denominator. Go out there today and be unstoppable and absolutely crush your day. I love spending time with you. Have a very blessed day.